Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we will learn to implement the page object model step by step in Cypress. So let's begin. Tutorial we will cover the prerequisite for this particular tutorial. We will create a new project. After creating a new project, we will lay out a page object model design pattern, and after that we will be creating a linear script first, and then we will convert that script into a page object model design pattern. Now let's start with the prerequisite for this one. So you need to have a node.js and you should have an editor. For this tutorial I will be using a Visual Studio Code. So here are the links. From here you can download node.js and you can also download and install the Visual Studio Code. So let me show you into the browser here. So this is a website, and here you need to download the Visual Studio Code according to your operating system, right? And similarly you need to download and install the node into your system. Once installation is done, you need to configure the environment path and you need to verify that your node is installed successfully or not. In order to verify this one, you need to go to any terminal here and you need to type for node-v, and similarly you need to type npm-v. So if you see these versions of node and npm here, this means that your node is configured properly in your system and it's working fine. Now what we need to do is that we are good to go with creating a project here. So let me go to my directory here. You can create your project anywhere. Let me create here on my desktop and let me name it as page object model. And now what I need to do is that I need to open this folder in Visual Studio Code. So here is my Visual Studio Code here. Go to file here, go to open folder and open the folder we just created. Click on this one. So here you will find a blank project here. Now what we need to do is that we need to go to the terminal, click on the new terminal here, and the first thing is that we need to initiate the project. So for that you need to type npm init and it will ask some basic questions. Right now I'm going with the default things here. So it will create a package.json and here you will find the details. So I haven't provided any details here, but by default it picked up the name of the project from the folder name, right? And now we are good to go to install the Cypress here. So for installing the Cypress, we need to use a command called npm install Cypress. I will be using a specific version here, which is 9.7.0, then -def, then -save. So it will install the Cypress version 9.7.0 in my system, and once it will be installed we will proceed further here. And because many people find difficulties because they don't find the folders after the installation, so let me show you how you will get those folders here. So npm install the Cypress here, and here you don't see any Cypress folders as of now. So in order to get the folders here, what we need to do is that we simply need to run a command called npx Cypress open. So it will take some time to load here, but it will, because it will be creating the folders on the backend side, it will be opening the test runner here for us. So it will take some time, so we need to wait for this one. So once it will be done, we will see Cypress folders here. So it contains the fixtures, integrations and different folders, and also it takes time because by running this command you will also be getting the examples provided by the Cypress as well. So meanwhile we need to understand how this npx Cypress open works. This command actually go here in the node_modules and it actually run these commands here, Cypress. So it will take some time, and let's wait for this one for a moment. And yes, the command has been executed successfully, and we see the test runner here. And on the left side we have Cypress folder. Under Cypress we have fixtures, integration, plugins, and the support folder, right? And if I go into the integration folder, so this installation comes with this examples from the Cypress tree. So the first thing what we need to do is that we don't need these folder. Now let's go for the page object model layout or the design pattern. So let me delete these folders. Similarly, we don't need this one. So let me remove this one from here. And the first thing I need to do is that under the integration folder, what I need to do is that I need to create one folder here. So my folder here is basically about my test cases. So this is a folder, and inside this folder we will be creating our test cases. And now what we need to do that we need to create the page object model folders here, and that needs to be done on the main root directory here. So simply go here, and actually it's the wrong place, and let me unselect this one, unselect this one, unselect this one, and this is the main folder here. And here we even don't need to create inside the fixtures here, and here actually we need to create on the root folder. I press, and this is the page of the model. So creating under the fixtures. So if you face some problem here, what you need to do is that you simply go to the main folder here, and here inside the Cypress we need these folders here. So not inside Cypress, on the main root directory here. Let me create the folders from here, and let me call it as page objects. And inside the page objects we need to create two more folders from here, that is page elements, and we also need one more folder called page actions. And if I go back to Visual Studio Code, here you will find these folders here. So if you face some problem from here, so you can directly go to your folder and create the folders accordingly, right? And now what I will do is that simply I will create a very basic script inside this test case, and I will create a file, and I'm naming this file as a login.js. So let me go to my notepad here. This is a reference line which will help you to auto-complete your code. So let me copy this one from here and paste it here. Once you are done with this, simply what we do is I will create a linear script. And for this tutorial, I will be using this open demo on an href live website. And now let me go back to Visual Studio Code here. We know that using the scribe block we will be creating our test suite. So I'm naming this suite as page object the tutorial, and we need to use a callback function here. And inside this describe block, what we need to do is that we need to create a test case using a it block. So here I'm naming it as a login page, and again we need to use a callback function here, and inside this one we need to work with our test case. So let me save this file, and the first thing we need to do is that we need to visit our application. So let me copy the URL from here and use this one in our Visual Studio Code here and save this one. Now let's go to your test runner, which is already opened here, and let me close this one and just click on your login test case here. Let's see, it should open this website here, and it's a demo website, so it's a login page of this demo website here. It should load in some time, and what we will do is that we will create a linear script very quickly using the locating strategy available in the test runner. So this is the login page here, and what I'll do is that using this playground I will quickly create the test from here. Right now what we are doing is that we are creating a linear script. We will convert that step by step into our page object model. So this is my username field, and what I need to do is that I need to provide the username here using the type method. Similarly, what I need to do is that let me go back here and find this element locator here, copy this locator, paste it here, and again we need to provide a password here, and the password is admin123. And the third thing is that we need to click on the button. So let me go back here, and this is a button, and this is a unique locator. Copy this from here and go back here, and simply what we need to do is that we need to click on this button. So let me save this one and see what happens. It should provide the username and password, and then it will click on the button in order to log in into this application. And yes, it's working absolutely fine. Now we will convert this script into a page object model design pattern. So for that, again, let's go back here into the Visual Studio Code, and under this page elements, let's create one file here. So I'm naming it as login page elements. So this file will actually contains all the elements here, and in page actions we would be having the actions or the methods applicable on these particular elements. So if we talk about this linear script, so this is our complete test case here written in one file. We have all these elements. So this is the element we have located. So let me show you again. So cy.get element. So here this is your element. This is also present here, and the type is basically action. Click is the action. So these are all present in a single file, and tomorrow if there is any problem in terms of the locators or actions, so it would be very hard for us to maintain or update our script into the multiple files. So idea behind the design pattern is that these all three things should be in the three different files, right? So in the page elements we would be having the elements, in the page actions we will be having the actions on these elements. Now in the login page elements, what we need to do is that we simply need to create a class here. So, and we need to name the class here. So I'm naming the class A here as login page elements, and this is the body of the class. And in order to use this class, I would need to use or export. And now I will create three different methods for username, password, and the login button. So for username, and that's how we can actually create a method. And similarly, we need to create for password. And the third thing we are using here is a login button. And because right now we have these three things. So in the login, and now what I'll do is that I will copy this complete line of the code from here and paste it here for username, and similarly we will copy this line of code and paste it here in our elements section here, and similarly the third one is this one. So let me copy this one and paste it here. Let me save this file, and now from here I will simply remove these things as of now, and let me save this one. This is the first thing we need to do. And now in order to use this class, we need to create an object for this one in the login.js so that we can call these methods here. This is our test file, right? So here on the top, what I will do is that I'm using a variable const, and I'm naming a variable called login underscore elements. You can name it as according to your requirements. This is just a variable name. So new, and so login page elements, you see, and this is a file, login page elements, and automatically it imported the file. We don't need to provide this import line. It automatically provided just because of this reference types equals to Cypress. Once you are done with this, now we can call those methods here. So simply, in order to call these methods, we need to use this underscore elements. This is a variable, and dot, we have a username. This is a method. Then similarly, login elements dot, this is a method password, and the third one is login underscore elements dot login button. So these are the three methods which we created in our login page element: username, password, and the login button. We simply created an object, we imported this file here, and we call the methods with these variables. So let me show you. It should be working fine here. So let me run this again. So you can see that it is working absolutely fine, even though we have a separated files. So far what we did is that we separated the test case from the login elements, and here we have also the actions. So before separating the actions and the elements, let's modify our script bit more. We don't want hard-coded values here. What we will do is that we will simply creating our global variables here in the class and use those variables in these methods. So we have a username. So it's a name, variable name, text equals to. So instead of providing it here, I will copy it from here, and it's a global variable. And similarly, password underscore text equals to, we need to provide this one from here, copy and paste. And the third one is basically our login button. Let me copy this one from here, and login underscore is a variable, and here I have provided the locators as a global variables. So let me save this one, and now instead of using this one, what I'll do is that let me remove this one from here, and if we want to use these global variables, I need to use a keyword called this. So this dot username text, and similarly we will do for the remaining methods. So this dot password underscore text, and the third one here is that this dot, the name is login underscore button. Yes. So let me save this one and see if our script is working fine or not. It should work, and yes, it's working absolutely fine. Now let me go back again to the Visual Studio Code here, and here we are in the actual test case. We are not providing the username and password, but in the real time what happens is that when we will be using the fixtures and all the things, we need to pass the values dynamically here. And if we put this admin and password here, so we cannot make it dynamic. So in order to make it dynamic, so what I'll do is that instead of providing a hard-coded value, so what I'll do is that create a username, and I'm passing an argument here, password, and here we don't need here, simply whatever we pass here, we need to pass here as well. Now let me save this one, and if I go to this login, here you see that this is not working, right? The reason is that if I go back here and if I go, so here you will see that we need to provide some value here. So simply now I will provide the value here instead of providing in my elements file. Won't have anything for the button here, and if I save this one, it should now work. So we are getting some error here. It says that username is not defined. So let me see the error, co.get this.password. Yeah, so seems that we have passed a wrong variable here. So let me go here, and instead of this one, let me copy this one from here and paste it here, and now save this one and see what happens. Now it should work perfectly fine. It will go to the website here. It should provide the username, it should provide the password, it should log in into the application successfully. And yes, the application, it says invalid credentials. The script is working, but it says invalid credentials. So let's debug the credentials here. So admin123, and if we go to our main file, yeah, so it's admin123. Let me save this one, and let's execute this one again and see now what happens. This time it should work perfectly fine, and it should log in into the application. And yes, it's working absolutely fine now. So let's go back to the Studio Code here, and so far we are done with our separations in terms of separating the test case and the elements with the actions. Now we will go one step ahead of this one, and what we will do is that we will simply separate the actions from the elements here. And for this, you need to copy this file from here and paste this file here, and instead of pasting this one, let's cut this file from here and paste it here. So instead of copying paste, you should cut and paste here, because it will ask for the update for the imports. So let me import this one here, and now let's create one file here. Before that, let me name this file as login page actions, and yes, update this one. And now we need to separate the element. So let me create a new file here. It's login page elements.json. So this is a JSON file we need to create here, and JSON start with the curly braces, and here I need to create for the login page locators, and we need to provide a colon here, and inside we have the body here. And the first thing, let me copy the details from here. So let me copy this one from here, remove this one from here, and go to our JSON file. So let's make it proper. We don't have equal sign, we have colon, we don't have a single quote, we have a double quote here, so and double quote here, and at the end we have a comma, and again we have to do double quotes here, and we need to put a colon, and again double quotes here. Similarly for this one, double quotes, colon, and double quotes, and in the end of this one we need. Now our elements are separated here in our login page elements .json. Now let's go back to our actions file now, which were previously known as a login page elements, and let me do some changes here as well. So what we need to do is that first thing we need to use a return keyword in order to return the value, right? Let me copy this one and paste it for all the three methods here. Okay, the first thing, this is what we need to do. Now what we need to do is that we need this file so that I can access these values. Okay, so for this one, simply create variable const. I'm naming it as login element locators and equals to require, and inside this we need to provide the single quotes, and let's start with the double dot and provide a forward slash. So it will tell you where you stand right now. So we need to go to our page elements and we need to require this file. We need to add this file. So once we are done with this, what we need to do is that instead of providing this hard-coded value, we will be calling this value from our login page elements. So this is really simple. What we need to do is that we need to use this variable here and provide this one, and inside this one we have login page locators. So inside this we have login page locators, and inside that we have this user underscore text, and similarly we need to change this value from here. So login element locators dot login page locators dot password, and finally we need to change for this button here. So login element locators dot login page locators dot we have this login button. So we have separated all three files. So this is our test case where we are calling our elements, right? And so this actually works in this way. So this is our test case. Here we have all the elements, and on these elements so let me change this one here. So this is our test case, and the elements which we used in this particular page, which was login page, are all present here in the .json file, and in our page actions file we are performing actions on these elements which are present in login page elements, right? So let me save these files, and let me save this one here as well, and let's see what happens. It should work perfectly fine. You should go to the application, you provide this name, password, and yes, done. So in this way, what you need to do is that you need to create a separate files for each page. So you have to create one test case file for each page. You need to create the objects in such a way that in objects you should have two further folders where you will be having the actions separately and the elements should be separate as well. Let me give you one more example here. So if we talk about this application here, let me log out from here and let me show you. So this is our forgot page, for example. So what will you do is that you will create one file here. So let me create one file. So forgot.js. So here you will be writing the test case of forgot page or test cases of the forgot page. This is the file, and here in page actions you will be creating a new file called forgot password actions.js. So here you would be having actions or methods actions from forgot password page, and in the elements we would be another file called forgot password.json, and in this file we need to have all the elements of forgot password. So that's how you can actually work with the page object model, where you have separate test cases, you have separated your actions, you have separated your elements, so that tomorrow if there is any change, for example if there is new action added against any element, you can simply go to the actions file and update here. In case if there is any change in the locator or the element, go to your location or element file and update your locator here. And tomorrow if you have to use this in your 100 of test cases, no problem, because if there is a change you need to update here only once instead of updating 100 times in 100 test cases. So that's a benefit and the power of using the page object model. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you like our content, then do like, comment, share and subscribe our channel. Once again, thank you so much and see you in the next tutorial.